Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Good. Hi.
I hope this is perfect time for you. I hope I'm not interrupting you.
That's okay.
All right, perfect. First of all, I would like to thank you for your time and for accepting the offer for this interview. Just to give you a small introduction, we are 4 students at CBS studying e-business, and one of our courses is Management, Enterprise, Architecture and Technology. And part of this class is to write a case study based on a company, and we came up with a radiometer, and we would like to learn more about it and find out about insights from radiometer. So thank you again for your time. So I would like to start by telling us more about you and what is your current role in radiometer and what are your main responsibilities there.
Yeah, I'm in IT in a department that works with various little projects, but also it's our center for data warehousing and business intelligence. So right now we have various projects within streamlining data, master data, and making some of this available to customers as well.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I work as a project manager, and I help design solutions and bring them, what you would say, online, put them in production.
Mm-hmm. Are these solutions mostly based for sorry, I haven't introduced myself. My name is Juan Pablo. I'm another group member.
Hello.
Are these solutions mostly based for your customer applications or for in-house applications?
Well, we have primarily been using it as in-house. We have, I believe, 5 production companies and more than 25 subsidiaries, sales companies, and we've provided information then to them, but also, of course, globally to our corporate functions. But right now we are also working on a we call it My Radiometer, which is opening up to some of our data to customers. That's a big project we have right now. We have currently a service called My Radiometer, where customers can log in and find certain assets, we call them, but that's typically manuals or brochures, etc. And now we want to expand it with access to data that could come out of some of our equipment they have bought or are leasing.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Is this in any way we've done a previous investigation and we were told as well that you have some sort of in-source development right now that's going on in India, right? In which way is this connected? Like right now you're here in Denmark. Do you have any voice over what's being developed right now in India, or it's not connected at all?
It is. It's very much connected. The group we have in India is managed by, I guess, the R&D managers that are based in Copenhagen. So, I'm not 100% up to date on the strategy and where it's going, but it is managed by Copenhagen right now. The team is just growing, but we have marketing here in Copenhagen. Of course, they're leading a lot of where development should go. One of the areas they are working on is what we call Live Connect. So it's kind of an Internet of Things where our analyzers are feeding back data to a central system, and we have already an offer. If you buy our IT solution called Acure, you can access some of that data. But we are working now. That's been coming out of Copenhagen with our team is taking some of our CRM data. You're familiar with CRM?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Customer relationship management. So that's where we have the information about the hospitals, the departments, the people, and where our analyzers are located. So that kind of gives a structure of who should interact with what data that the analyzers are sending to our Acure system. So it's, you asked who's responsible or who's driving it. I would say right now it's a bunch of very good developers and project managers we have in India. But it's driven mainly from Copenhagen of what they are focusing on.
Okay, so basically the directives are sent from Copenhagen and then they're absorbed, so to speak, by the India crowd or the India work group, and then they end up developing according to whatever parameters you have set.
Yeah, we actually just investigating doing something similar for our web platform. We have a Danish supplier of web development. We may consider setting up a team in the same facility in India, but they would be similar to the Danish supplier, would be working on the directions that are being set from Copenhagen.
Is this this web platform that you're mentioning? Is that for what type of activities? Like it's obviously an in-house platform. It's outsourced, right?
Actually, we've insourced the platform itself. It's a Sitecore platform. Part of it is used to run just our corporate websites, and then we have this part which I guess in the older days you would call it an extranet.
Okay.
Where either sales or service people that are not in-house would be able to access, but also customers will be able to access. And then it's fairly complicating managing that each person at a hospital or clinic, they can only access what is relevant for them.
Yeah, the information has to be somewhat digested so they can process it easier at the moment. Right?
Yeah, they should not see any other hospitals' data, of course.
Absolutely, yes.
But also within the hospitals, there should be restrictions of who can see what and do what with their data.
All right. Great. Let's go back to if you know about the Danaher's acquisition. I mean, you've been here. You've been in Radiometer since 2008. It's so long so far. Maybe you can give us more insights about the acquisition when it took place in 2004, and if you know how this transformed the IT. And can you elaborate more on the lean management principles that you have incorporated and inherited from Danaher, please?
Yeah. So Radiometer was a regular floated company, but with a majority owner, a private person. And when he was actually looking to, because the company was generating a lot of cash, he was actually looking at maybe buying a different company or finding a different business to add to Radiometer, and he couldn't really locate it in 4 or 5 years, and then he decided to sell. what Danaher's philosophy is. They can acquire well-known and well-driven companies, good brands, and using the DBS tools optimized by 20%. I think that's kind of their philosophy. The Danaher Business Systems, it's a toolkit. Has a lot of great information, a lot of really, really strong training programs that just helps you manage the business, manage the department, manage the team using some of these tools. A lot of it is daily management and visual management. Where if you walk in the halls of Radiometer, you will see a lot of whiteboards structured very similar, where you it's called a plus QDIP board, where the plus is about EHS, safety, and then it's about quality and productivity and inventory and delivery. And that's typically what you would have in the production company. But we work in administration, and you can use the same principles to run a department, a team, etc. So the most important with these, what you put on these whiteboards or what you would call them, is that you should be able to walk by it and you should be able to see immediately whether it's good or bad. So there's a lot of color coding, and you have targets for every day, and each day of the month you actually color code if yesterday was for each of these areas Q, D, I, P, whether they were green or red. Do a little color code. So as you walk by, you can actually see if it's all green. Maybe they are not ambitious enough, but if it's all red, they should already be dealing with corrections on a daily basis. So it's every day like a 15-minute stand-up, discussing, or not discussing, but just having the facts to find out if anything needs attention. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, the president of Danaher launched a project to make us all better at problem solving. So that's one process. It used to be called root cause and countermeasures. He was not too happy how that was being handled, so actually put down a team to make better problem solving as a process. And that's just an example of how Danaher invested in this, because once this was a new tool, he actually trained all his direct reports, so that were the vice presidents at Danaher. Then they all had to train their direct reports, and then they all had to train. So every single person in the company, and we are 70,000 people, received 2 days of training in this process, just to make sure everybody understands that having a problem is actually good. You need to have problems in order to improve. But once you have a stop in production or a KPI that is not being met, you can actually use this tool and have a structured way of getting back on track. So for Radiometer, it's been a very successful acquisition. Still based in Copenhagen, still the Radiometer brand. Most brands that I think all brands that Danaher acquires, they continue to live under their own brand. And then we have, another good thing. We have all these Kaizen events to solve certain, not necessarily problems, but to do improvements. And we may, and quite often do, invite colleagues from some of the other Danaher companies that maybe excel in this type of problem or philosophy or whatever. So a lot of people actually, once a year maybe go to one of our sister companies and help them for a week, and then we have another person helping us for a week within, could be marketing, could be some production, could be whatever. So that's really really a strong team.
So
and team effort.
You regard this link and this bond between Radiometer and Danaher as generally a very positive relationship, right?
Absolutely, but also with the other companies that Danaher have acquired.
Okay, perfect. Is in that organizational chart, when it comes to IT decisions, how do you feel that being part of a group or a corporation like Danaher affects a company like Radiometer?
That's hard to say. One thing that is probably good, if you look at IT security, we have there's a CISO in the US that kind of decides the standard of this must be implemented in order to have a secure IT environment. So, you can say that's good or bad. There's a lot of focus on it, and the whole Danaher network is, working towards becoming more and more secure. I think that for a corporation is very good in these days to have a strong focus on that. Otherwise, on the IT side, we're pretty much allowed to do what we do, but in other areas, Danaher may say now we all do Office 365. We negotiate a good deal with Microsoft, and now we will all move towards that. So then, within Danaher, we have just one instance of our mail platform and SharePoint and all that. So it's pretty handy. They will set up a team once in a while and get stuff done quickly and professionally.
Of course. So it basically acts like a big strong big brother that helps you impulse certain projects and certain ideas that are very 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 specific.
So
yes.
I guess as a comparison, you could see Radiometer. If you look at Radiometer, I think we are about 1,000 people in Copenhagen, out of a total of just below 4,000. So it's a quarter that's based in Copenhagen. So we're big headquarter, whereas the Danaher headquarter is maybe 500 people out of 70,000 people. So it's a much. It's not a big massive headquarter compared to what Radiometer is to our subs. But whenever they when they want to put attention to something, they're able to add the resources and get the things done.
Okay. I'm sorry, can you give me 2 seconds, Sten?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Do you feel that right now, within Radiometer, IT has been regarded more as a tool, or do you think it's a business driver, or do you think it's a mix of both?
I think it has, in the last 15 years in Radiometer, gone from being, what do you say, part of just the infrastructure. Like you build roads and parking lots, you also had to build IT. It was probably like that 15 years ago, and now we are very much more upfront, driving part of the business. I mean, we're still a company that does chemistry and deliver, an analysis on blood samples. We don't drive that part in IT, but that group of people you talk about in India, they do, IT development for the analyzers to, support doing these analysis and our and the whole platform that kind of helps us and also customers to work maybe a little smarter. So very much we are there's more and more business involvement in IT, and with this new platform for customers and adding more services, it's we are very much involved. But from our side, we still want the business to drive it, the marketing people, the sales management. We're not in a position where corporate IT where I go and meet customers and drive the product development.
Absolutely, it's a
Does
complement.
that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, it's sort of like a complement between all of the areas, but it's not like misregarded either. I think that according to what I understood, and the architecture that you're mentioning, it's beginning to gain a stronger role within the organization, and it's becoming to be regarded as a much more vital part of the whole business strategy in general. So that's what I
Absolutely.
And additionally, and to sum up a little bit, do you have any knowledge or any general understanding about the IT governance within Radiometer? Like, for example, you as the head architect, if you have a certain application that you want to develop, where is the idea born? Who is it? Is it a directive from upper management, or can you develop your own ideas and then pass them through which phases? How do you get an idea like that approved?
Yeah, and it's it depends a little bit of what type of project, and if it's about our analyzers, our real product and an IT solution based on that, then we are part of it's a regulated industry. So whenever you do an IT system, there's a lot of paperwork if it kind of becomes a product or related to our analyzers. Then it's more a corporate decision or driven by management that, okay, we're gonna put our focus in this area. But if it's about supporting the business, supporting salespeople, supporting service, it depends a little. We can definitely, if we have ideas, we can easily talk to management and say, this is, we have this possibility. We could deliver this to support this business case or solution. We can optimize a little bit here. That's exactly why we are working so much on data warehousing and BI at the moment. So our IT director he can focus the resources as he prefer.
Okay, and if one of the ideas stems from one of the divisions, as you mentioned, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you told me that you were in 25 countries more or less. So for example, one of the divisions in South America has a specific idea. How do they run that idea through the whole organization so it can be implemented in the future? Or how does it enter a pipeline? How does it work?
Yeah. I'm sure they find it difficult.
Of course.
In these remote, not remote, but far from Copenhagen. So it again depends a little bit on what type of IT system we are talking about. But
Absolutely.
we do have, like in Australia and other places where they are very far and maybe not in the full focus of Copenhagen. They will actually implement their own little solutions. So in Australia, they have implemented a little shopping portal for customers. It's pretty good for the customers, but it's not fully integrated into our ERP system.
Of course.
So they just, kind of get some manual entries or imports out of that. But it works for their customers. They deliver them as a nice service, which is typically inexpensive and easy to implement, but it's not fully incorporated in the process. So cheap to give the customer a little value, but maybe a little expensive on the processing side internally. But I mean, the sales managers and the general managers from the countries, they meet frequently with or get a visit from Copenhagen. It's a very close. It's an easy, accessible management we have, and if something is important and the VP of sales believes it's important, it will definitely happen.
Okay.
That's how they get things prioritized, I would say.
It's perfectly clear. Thank you very much, then. Yeah, we want to thank you seriously for your time. You've been extremely kind and generous, and this will help us develop our project further.
Okay.
We're very, very thankful, to be honest.
That's fine. You can contact me again if you have any other or come for a visit.
Perfect. Yes,
like to.
we would love that, of course. We will email you or text you through LinkedIn if we happen to need or require further assistance.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you very much. Have a very nice afternoon.
Same to you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yes, good job. He was super cool.
I mean, this guy deserves the coffee.
Wow,
This guy deserves the coffee. Seriously, he's so nice.
Yeah, amazing. He's really helpful. Really helpful.
And he was like, "No, don't worry." Like super relaxed.
And going on with the conversation
Yes.
and on and wow.
And he contradicted in one part Signe regarding is technology IT department a driver or is it a tool? I think there's a little bit of a contradiction, and he sees it more like he has a managerial role, and he can say, no, listen, from the past 15 years it's changed this way, and now we have an IT architecture, and this is for driving these sort of events.
And also the relationship that I have. It's good what he said. Yeah, like that there is like also involved with the